Okay, now on with the show. But first, I have a question for you all. What does it take to be a trailblazer? Well, these modern pioneers aren't afraid to dive in headfirst to follow their purpose, and they're willing to take risks to pave a path for future generations. But cultivating that confidence to break barriers is easier said than done. I know you know this. Thankfully, we have a panel of groundbreaking creatives with us today who are leading the way and showing us all how to follow in their bold, bold, bold footsteps. Whether it's through their personal style or their artistic abilities, they're making their voices heard and inspiring others to do the same. So please welcome Brittany Xavier, global fashion influencer. Hello, darling. Lily and Lani McKeel, jewelry design, stoned bracelets. Theater set designer. If I have gotten your name incorrect, I am so troubled to pronounce it, so I don't make that mistake again. Is it say O? Thank you so much. I like to check. I like to be polite. Brittany, we're going to start with you because COVID-19 hit hard, but you use your impressive influence for good by partnering with a non-profit organization at Get Us PPE to provide much needed PPE to healthcare providers. Can you tell us more about that partnership and why it's so important to give back during this time?
Yes. So my sister-in-law is an emergency room nurse, and after hearing her experience with lacking protective equipment, I was actually shocked to hear that, considering we're a first world country. That didn't even cross my mind that would be an issue. So I started researching and trying to figure out how I could help in any way. And that's when I came across Get Us PPE. I had a call with them, and they were started by emergency room doctors for the same exact reason, just to fill the need. They're a massive database where you can go on and find your local hospital that needs help, and you can donate any extra items you have, or you can help financially as well. So it was really important for me to donate, but also to educate my audience that if they had extra PPE, that they could get it to where it needs to go.
Great, thank you so much. And it sounds like you're doing wonderful work. I appreciate it. It sounds like your sister's doing incredible work too. So thank her on our behalf, please. And can I just mention one really quick side point to those of you on the panel who are with Brittany also. Brittany, I met you like 2.5 years ago, just before Queer Eye hit. And I said hello, and you were very nice. Even though you had literally no idea what I did for a living, you were just so friendly. So thank you for being a sweetheart. I appreciate it always.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
You were very sweet, and your daughter's gorge. Okay, Lily and Lani. Now, giving back is literally built into your business model. You donate 10% of the profits from your jewelry line to a charity or cause chosen by your community on social media. But what we want to know is, how did this business idea come about, and what impact has it had on the charities you've helped so far? How can other founders use their platforms to pay it forward like you guys have?
Well, honestly, there's so much that we want to help do in the world, so many positive ways to impact the world, and we had a hard time choosing just one. And we figured that was probably an issue that a lot of people have, on top of not really having the time to research and do the footwork into finding charities. We thought it'd be really great to help get our community involved in donating with their vote. And knowing where their money went, and also just helping them get involved in the process of giving back.
Yeah, and I think that ways in which this has helped the charities is, one, bringing that awareness to the charities, because I think a lot of people, they're not even aware that these charities exist, and just educating them can help them be interested in donating and being active in that charity. And then also financially, even a small donation can make a big difference in what these charities can do.
Okay, good. I couldn't agree more. I think that people are so hesitant sometimes to donate, thinking, I don't know if my donation is substantial enough. You are right, every penny counts. You don't have to donate big, as long as you're helping somewhat. I know that those small donations can make a massive impact on a community, so thank you so much. I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Say right now, people across the country and around the world are having long overdue conversations about race. On your own Instagram, you shared an insightful open letter titled Dear White American Theatre. What was the community's response to this letter, and how has it inspired them to continue this important conversation?
I think the letter was largely reassuring to a lot of us BIPOC artists in the theater industry that we are not alone. And we have been enduring for years in the industry quite a bit of lonesomeness actually, to be honest, because oftentimes we find ourselves to be the only non-white artists maybe working in the room full of other artists that come from Caucasian backgrounds. And so when the letter came out, I think a lot of us largely felt like it was resonating in us, and it was really voicing our concerns and our observations in the industry throughout the year. So I think that explains why the letter was really trending, and everybody was sharing it. Yeah.
Good.
But it did lead to one, oh, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
The only I think solid outcome so far that I witnessed was that the theater community, within the theater communities, a lot of the companies started hosting their own Zoom conferences, inviting alumni artists, the artists who had worked in those venues prior, artistic administration who are in charge of running those venues, into a same Zoom conference, so that we are actually openly talking about the issue at hand. Where have we fallen short in terms of equity and equal opportunities in our workforce, and how can we improve it in the future? So that was very also assuring and nice to see that the theater companies are now actively engaging in conversations.
Good. I love that you were brave enough to write the letter. It does take a lot of bravery, and I'm glad you did it. I'm sure it impacted your community in such a great way. So thank you for having the strength to do that. I know that probably was nerve-wracking to do. Now let's talk about cultivating the confidence to pursue your dreams. It's not easy. I know that for sure. So Brittany, I want to go back to you, please. Before you became a fashion influencer and the grand influencer you are today, you were a single mom working a 9-to-5 job and running a style blog. I know so many bloggers. Personally, I live near so many bloggers. And so I know the answer, but I want you to share it with this audience. How do you summon up the confidence to leave that steady paycheck, to leave your regular job where you feel very much secure and pursue your career in fashion? What advice do you have for people who might want to do the same?
For me, I was very safe before I quit my job. I really wanted to make sure that I had enough income coming in to where I was also making up my 401k and my insurance. So I goaled myself that if I could get that for 6 months, then I was on the right track and I would feel comfortable leaving. And my husband, he was super supportive, and he said, we can fall back on his if anything. But I really didn't want to just step away from all the securities I had in my job and just struggle. So for me, it was really important to have a little bit of a safety net. And I do recommend doing that. At least maybe you save up to where you have 3 months to where if you don't get a job or it doesn't do well, then you have that safety net to fall back on. But if not, then in a few months that you're going to have to get another job. But it just gives you a little bit of leeway to really try it. But for me, I noticed after I quit, I was actually making more because I was missing out on opportunities before at my full-time job just from having to say no and didn't have enough time. So it really opened the door for me and helped get me to where I am today.
Good. Thank you for sharing with that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you so much. Okay, Lily and Lani, you also took a huge risk when you started your own business. After hitting a crossroad in your careers, you risked going all in on your jewelry business together, and it definitely paid off. Clearly, it paid off very well. How did you move past the fear of failure and take the leap and pursue those dreams at all costs? I know it's got to have been terrifying at one point, right?
Yes, it was kind of terrifying because we were both at a point in our lives where we didn't really know what we wanted to do, but we know we wanted to do something meaningful. And I think a lot of people are in that position where it's like they want to have a good impact on the world, but they don't really know what it is that they can contribute. And so it was kind of scary, but we did do some planning and everything. I think the most important thing is to plan an executions, because you can plan all day, all year, and just keep on planning. But at some point, you have to tell yourself to just do it, and you will learn as you go.
Yes, and I would like to add in, we didn't start off with a lot. We put in little by little by little each week, every month, a little bit that we can, and eventually something will grow if you just keep pushing. And I think that's been our biggest strength is it doesn't matter if we have the money or we have the time, we find the money, and we push forward because we know we're doing something that's meaningful and uplifting to other people in the Native American and female community. And that's so important to us. And we want to set a good example.
Thank you. That was lovely. Thank you so much. Okay, and say, like your fellow panelists, you've made a major life change to do what you love. At a young age, you moved halfway across the world from Seoul, Korea to New York to study theatre arts. Take us back, paint a picture. What was your life then compared to how you are now, and how has moving halfway across the world been instrumental in shaping the confidence and the confident person we see today?
Oh my gosh. Well, then I definitely spoke less English than I do now. Yeah, when I moved here, culture shock, language barrier, I had, like some of those biggest hurdles to go through. And I think even when I was that young, I understood that there is that sort of power struggle that I need to overcome. I was very concerned with whether I am well liked, just for the sheer, I don't know, a possibility of surviving in this new society that I belong to now. But I don't know. I mean, maybe I can say I was lucky in a way because I kind of kept to myself. And I think once I was starting to be more comfortable with English, I was aligning myself with people that I shared similar views and values with, rather than, let's say, like that group is the bunch of like cool kids and those are the popular kids. And I mean, so I may not have gone through all the educational system in America like as the popular kid. However, looking back, I think I am here now due to the fact that I did stick to my guts rather than just sort of compromising my belief system just so that I belong to a group that is safer or more popular. And I think I do want to actually encourage others to maybe do the same, whether they make that similar, shifts in their lives and they find themselves to be in a new culture and new places. I think it's best if you really do believe in your own conviction rather than going off of some other, listening to some other people's advices or listening to what other people are doing and saying, kind of like really just going inwards more as you get more nervous and anxious. Yeah.
Good. And then now clearly you are the cool kid that you said you were trying to become part of that group. Now people are going to try and be your friend, which is so nice. What a privileged position to be in.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's move on. It's true. Okay, now let's move on to creativity and how expressing yourself has led to your success. Brittany, I'm going to come back to you, please, my dear. You've had incredible success on Instagram, but you took a chance on TikTok. I want to hear more about this because I still have not made the leap. And now you've got 3 million followers. So I have to ask, what's the secret to your incredible success on this platform? And how do you come up with so many fun and creative ideas? I want to hear it all.
Well, the reason why I got TikTok in the first place is because my daughter got in trouble for having her screen time on it so much more than any other platform. So that's actually how I first discovered TikTok in the very beginning. I was like, what are you on? Is this appropriate? But after spending some time on the For You page and really understanding the culture behind TikTok is what I always tell people, spend some time scrolling the app, understanding what's trending. And you just really have to show your personality on there. It's not curated. There's so many videos, people are just in their messy living room. And that's what the appeal of TikTok is. It's very casual. And I look at it as an entertainment platform versus social media. So you're on there to connect with your audience very quickly. They have a short attention span, 2 seconds, you need to grab their attention and share a personality share a part of yourself that you may not share on other platforms. So you have to be a little bit more vulnerable on there too.
Okay, good. I'm just going to be real. I feel too old for it, but you might have convinced. I just haven't tried it. I just keep seeing those
I mean,
dances everywhere. I'm like, that's not
there's
for me.
definitely different types of, it's not all dancing, but I'm on investment TikTok right now. Like all of my For You page, it's very intuitive. So whatever you hover over, whatever you watch, it's going to remember. And so you can make your For You page
Okay.
however you want, but my husband's on the dog one. So sometimes I'll look over, I'm like, what is your For You page? That's not what mine looks like. So it
Okay,
just,
good. All right, I do
so
like
many
that.
different avenues that you can explore.
All right, you might have convinced me. All right, thanks. Lily and Lally, you also put creative work into the world every day. And while it can be fun, I know it can also be scary. Many creatives have to overcome the fear of rejection in order to gain the confidence to publicly share their work. I think all of us understand that all too well. All of us are on social, and putting yourself out there is terrifying. What advice would you give someone who's feeling self-doubt and is worried about the criticism that they might receive?
Oh gosh. Well, being mixed, we grew up with quite a bit of criticism about our looks, about our heritage, about our bloodlines, about a lot about who we are that we can't change. And so I think that prepared us a lot, but it wasn't always easy. I think a lot of times you need to rest, give your mind, give your soul rest, and know that it's okay to get down, and it's normal to be hurt by the things that people say. Words hurt, and pick yourself back up and know that you are beautiful just the way you are, and keep it moving.
Yeah, and I think that it's also important to remember that when you create, you're creating not for the people who are criticizing you, but for yourself and for the people who get enjoyment out of what you create. So it's important to trust yourself and allow yourself to make mistakes too.
Absolutely.
I like that. I'm going to try and remember some of that. I must admit, I'm still that person who gets when I see comments. I think people forget that we're all still people, even though we're creators or we are very public. And yeah, I do find it difficult still. I start to feel physically sick, and I cry a little bit. You're right. You just got to remember that. It's just
We're not immune to that by any means.
No, I cry once a week. It's fine.
Oh my God, so often. However, you're right. There's you've got to remember that they're not the people you're there for, and
Right.
we shouldn't admit that they're the ones getting to us because they know they're hurting us.
Oh,
You don't hurt me at all, people.
You don't
hurt me at all. Happiest person in the world. You ain't got power over me. Okay. Say you've made a career out of expressing yourself. You've designed 30 sets for some of the greatest classics of our time, including Death of a Salesman, Romeo and Juliet, and Hedda Gabler. How have you made these projects your own and injected newness while upholding their legacy?
So theater is a wonderful place because you come inside to let go of all of your, suspicions, all of your, you just have to come in to hear the story. And the end goal is not to come to an indictment. It's not a place of judgment. It's all about listening to the story and figuring out why has all these events happened. And it's a great exercise, not only for the audience, but also for the artists, us behind the stage working on the set, because it's we have to invest ourselves emotionally to recreate the world that the script has provided us, with words. It's all written at first, but then we do the reading and we do research and we produce. But I think in that exercise, ultimately, because we as the artists, we are now starting to have our own relationship with the text, because we are reading the story, and rather than, again, judging the characters for what they have done, we're trying to understand why they had done those things in the story. And so our own sort of unique relationship with that text, I think, is where that uniqueness in our end product comes from. Like, let's say if you were to give Death of a Salesman to 10 different designers, sure enough, you're gonna get 10 different sets and 10 different
Yeah.
costumes for the same play. And that has been happening throughout the history, right? Like there's a reason why we revisit some of these classics over and over again. And I think it's because it's that place, the theater is that place where, you know, across the generations, people can come in and they can ready themselves to live through someone's lives. You know what I mean? And I think it just develops our sense of empathy. That is so crucial, especially at this time and age in our society right now.
Yeah.
We basically do the same thing. I, as a designer, also do the same thing. I read the text and I try to find my way into it, see if there are anything that resonates in me that I can pull from my own life and from my experiences. That can enrich my choices in design and the conversation between me and my collaborators, including the director, other designers for costumes and lighting and projection sometimes, audio even. It becomes a more enriched experience because we're all, you know, even though we're behind the scenes people, we're actually all sharing our stories too, how we perceive the same text that we're all working on together, but you know, how does that hit us a little bit different, like throughout the department?
Yeah.
And I think that's how we arrive at a unique show at a time.
Good, good. Okay, I would like you all to humor me for just a couple more minutes. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions, just 2 questions. I just need you to finish the sentence and just feel free to call out your answer. Okay, so first one, self-expression is.
Passion.
All right, I like that.
Self-expression.
That's how I feel too. Go. Sorry, I got Brittany's now. Lily and Lani, go ahead.
Self-expression to me is your soul speaking to the world.
Yeah, I think it's definitely connection through showing your true self.
I think self-expression is the only way we can connect with one another.
That's beautiful, say. Okay, and the next one, finish the sentence. I inspire others to dream big by.
For us, I think it's being a positive image for Native Americans and female entrepreneurs, and just showing that you are capable and your dreams can come true.
Thank you very much. I like that. Okay, say.
I think I help others by being transparent about my own process and my own journey, so that it really does show that it is all about the efforts. It's all about how hard you work, and it's not at all about, you know, if you're entitled to it or if it's just bound to happen to some people over the other. It does not happen that way at all. It's all about hard work. Anybody can do it.
Good. And then Brittany, I inspire others to dream big by.
I inspire others by sharing my story. A lot like what Sang was saying, is I just like to tell people that it's not just because, you know, I had money, I was born into it, or I did Assumptions video recently and people said, oh, you were born with a silver spoon. I'm like, that is actually incorrect 100%. So it goes back to consistency, hard work. Yeah, I'm like, it was gold. Yeah. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, you just, I mean, you have to say no to certain things to work hard and for what you want. And it is a lot of behind the scenes hard work.
Yeah, it is. Okay, thank you, Brittany. And thank you all. You guys joining us tonight has been so lovely. I've been so inspired by you all. And you've shared fantastic stories that I'm hoping are really going to resonate with our audience. We're so grateful for creative trailblazers like you who are leading the way for generations to come. Thank you so much again for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, you guys. On the panel, you guys don't leave. Bye, you guys. Don't you guys leave. I'm still talking to you.